All right, today we're putting on our detective hats. We're going to dive deep into how investigators follow these tiny digital breadcrumbs, the ones we all leave behind online, to track down criminals and uncover hidden truths. So let's get started. Wow, this quote really nails it, doesn't it? The internet can feel like this huge anonymous playground where nothing you do has any real consequences. And it's that feeling, that cloak of invisibility, that makes people do and say things they would never, ever dream of doing face to face. But here's the kicker. That feeling of anonymity, it's pretty much an illusion. The reality is servers all over the world are logging our activities constantly. Some of that data might vanish in seconds, sure, but other pieces, they can be pulled up years down the road, creating this permanent, unerasable record of our digital lives. And that permanent record, that's what we call the Cybertrail. Seriously, just think of it like a trail of digital breadcrumbs. Every single thing you do online drops another crumb. And for someone who knows what they're doing, that trail can lead right back to your front door. So, to really get how detectives follow this trail, first we have to understand how the other side, the criminals, try to cover their tracks. Let's dig into the art of hiding online. This is the #1 challenge for them. If you want to stay anonymous, your main goal is to hide your IP address. You know, that unique number that's basically the home address for your computer on the internet. So how do they do it? Well, one of the most popular tricks in the book is using a proxy server. It's basically a middleman. Your request gets laundered through the proxy. So the website you're visiting, it only sees the proxy's IP address, not yours. Your real identity is totally masked. Pretty clever. And trust me, it doesn't stop with proxies. We're talking about a whole arsenal of tools. You've got anonymous remailers that strip all the identifying info from emails, super strong encryption that scrambles messages, special bots on chat networks, even entire anonymous networks like Freenet. It is a very sophisticated toolkit designed for one thing: invisibility. But, you know, for every clever way to hide, there's an even cleverer way to find. So let's flip the script and see how investigators fight back and start pulling these shadows out into the light. So here's the thing you have to remember, and it's a big one. No system is perfect. Even the most carefully faked email designed to hide an identity can have a tiny, fatal flaw. The very tech that connects us also keeps a record of those connections. And here's a perfect example. Look on the left. That's a forged email header. It's a jumbled mess, right? It's designed to confuse you. But now look at the real header on the right. Even if you're using a so-called anonymous service, boom, there it is. That little line, X originating IP, gives away the sender's real IP address. It is the digital equivalent of a fingerprint. So how does that path even get there? Well, as your email zips across the internet, it hops between different servers called message transfer agents, or MTAs. Think of each MTA like a post office. And just like a post office stamps a letter with a postmark, each MTA adds a little received stamp to your email's header. An investigator can just read those stamps backwards from top to bottom and trace the email's journey step by step. Now, once an investigator gets a clue, like an IP address or a nickname, they have this whole suite of powerful databases at their fingertips. Whois databases can link an IP address straight to the person who owns it. You've got Usenet archives, which have decades of public chats just waiting to be searched. And of course, regular old search engines and social media can connect all the dots someone thought they'd kept separate. Okay, so we've got the tools and we have the clues. Now for the really cool part, the chase. Let's see how investigators take all these little bits and pieces of data and start connecting the dots. A lot of times, the whole investigation kicks off with something really small, something they call a rough edge. This is any unique little detail that a person repeats across different places online. It could be a weird nickname, a common typo, a niche hobby, basically a digital habit. And that one little habit can be the thread that unravels their entire anonymous persona. For a really chilling real-world example of a rough edge, just look at the case of the serial killer John Robinson. He actually used the internet to find his victims, and the key for investigators was searching for his online alias, Slave Master. That one unique nickname was the link that connected his hidden online world to his horrific real-world crimes. So here we can see a search happening in real time on IRC, which is basically a network of old-school text chat rooms. The investigator is using the who command. This lets them cast a really wide net, searching for anyone who's, say, using Verizon.net or anyone with the word Raven in their nickname. And this is the payoff. Once they find a target, in this case, the Raven, the investigator uses the whois command. And just like that, the mask is ripped off. They can see what chat channels the user is in and, most importantly, the full host name they're connecting from, which contains their real IP address. It's the gotcha moment. This is how it all starts to come together. Investigators build a full profile by pulling data from everywhere. So a chat log gives them the nickname Aeon. Then, looking at a compromised computer, they find an email address, jgram in some log files. Finally, a whois search on that account's IP address points to a specific geographic area. All of a sudden, the anonymous nickname Aeon is connected to a name and a real place. So right about now, you might be thinking, okay, this is fascinating, but this is all about criminals and high-stakes stuff, not me. Well, this is where it gets personal. Let's bring this all back home. Because this isn't just about criminals. Every single one of us leaves a cyber trail every single day. Every Google search, every photo you like, every website you visit, it's all contributing to your personal digital footprint. And that footprint tells a story about who you are. And that story can have incredibly serious real-world consequences. This tragic case, the cyberbullying that led to Megan Mayer's death, was done using a fake profile. But it was the digital trail, the messages, the IP addresses, the server logs that allowed investigators to find out who was really behind that account and tell the whole heartbreaking story. So it's a question we all have to ask ourselves. If somebody were to follow your digital breadcrumbs, what picture would they see? What story would your cyber trail tell about you? I think the ultimate takeaway here is this. That feeling of anonymity online is fleeting, but the data we create, that can be permanent. In the digital world, nothing is ever really erased. The trail is always there, just waiting for someone to find it.